What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Trifecta Handgun YouTube channel. This is a chapter 2 of our Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 10mm 4-inch combat handgun. It may be also better known to me as the episode where I had COVID. Yes, I was diagnosed yesterday with COVID, so I'm going to try to edit out any coughing or anything like that. Just know that I may seem a little lethargic or my voice may be a little bit jacked up. So anyway, I feel pretty good, so let's continue on with the episode. Just to recap from our first episode, I was talking about whether this gun would make the lineup, whether it would make the team of my trifecta of handguns or top 3 handguns that I would hunt with. And if you want to see the other 2 guns that I normally hunt with, go back to the last episode or the last 30 or so episodes and you'll see I've made a lot of videos talking about those guns. But today we're talking about a single focus, and that is the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. What we're trying to determine is whether we can take a gun that's essentially a combat handgun and turn it into something that we would hunt with. Now, why did I choose this particular gun to hunt with? I know Glock has been doing this for years with their Glock 20, Glock 40 models, and I think Springfield Armory also has their XD, but it may have just been continued. I know they have a new one also, a 3.8-inch version. Anyway, my single focus is on the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 because that's what I have. Now, why a polymer handgun? I think there are some advantages to this over, say, a 1911 style gun. It's going to be a little bit lighter weight. This has a 4-inch barrel, so it's going to be a little bit easier to carry with you, find a holster for, things like that. So, it's going to be size and weight that really wants me to take this gun into the woods. Let's take a minute to talk about the 10mm cartridge in general. I think it gets a bad rap on the internet because guys tend to want to make it into something that it's not. It's a short-range pistol. What happens? They go out and shoot something, they don't have a good blood trail, or they make a bad hit, they blame the round, they blame the gun. Instead, they did not keep it within its intended purpose. And yes, I'm aware that people have shot game much farther than 50 yards and much larger than white-tailed deer. But I think for the most part, if we can stick to under 50 yards and that kind of a medium-sized whitetail hog sort of thing, we'll be a lot better off with the 10mm. Now later on I'm going to do some shooting with this gun, but we talked about in the last episode that it must maintain 50-yard accuracy. Not 4 out of 5, not pie plate accuracy. I think pie plate is old school. Pie plates are 9 inches. A 9-inch group is not good enough anymore in modern times. To me, a gun like this must be fun to shoot. It holds 15 rounds. I want to put 15 rounds in it. I want to go to my backyard and have fun shooting this gun. Maybe it's at steel targets, maybe it's just out with friends, maybe it's me doing my thing here, bench rest shooting this gun, but I want to have fun when I'm shooting it. $32 a box of 50 is not that fun. Coming up, I'm going to show you my first load that I've developed for this gun, and it's just a starting point, but I think you'll be impressed with the results. So where do I see a 10mm's best use? Tree stand gun, all day long. It's going to be very maneuverable. You can get around the tree easily, shoot anything inside of like maybe 20 yards without the use of a rest, and anything farther than 20 yards, maybe incorporate a rest just to make a more precision shot. This gun has been cleared. I am not a gun reviewer per se, but I think something everybody wants to know about is the trigger. I did not mention that in the last video, so let's talk about it now. As you can see, it's obviously a flat-faced trigger. Let's just look at the take-up. It's about right there. Do that again. It breaks at about 5.5 pounds. There's your reset, not super loud. So the question is, for a hunting pistol, would I replace the trigger? I don't think so. Not at this point anyway. There's a lot of other things to cover. Maybe sometime later on this year, we'll get to a point where maybe I can get better groups with a lighter trigger. The only thing I can think of that a heavier trigger like this might affect is if you had a moving animal, it might create just a little bit of anxiety trying to get the shot off, especially if it's a longer shot. But as of right now, I don't think I'm going to replace the trigger on this gun. I think it's pretty good. Now let's talk about my main reason for making this follow-up video. I was able to gather a couple hundred pieces of Starline brass, some Hornady HAP 180 grain bullets, some Winchester primers, which obviously I already had sitting around because you can't find those anywhere. And I also had some of this, some HS6 pistol powder. Now, why do I think this may be a good choice? Let's take a look at it. Did you see how fine that poured out? That means it's going to meter very well. That means I don't have to trickle charge up all my rounds. I can load a lot faster, a lot more accurately, and that's what I'm hoping for with this particular handgun, is to find something economical to shoot, that's accurate, that I can reload quickly. Let's talk about yesterday's range session. As you can see, it's wintertime here, guys. It's cold out. It's a little bit warmer today. Yesterday when I was shooting these groups, it was 21 degrees. And so just take that in consideration. But I think when you're working on load development, it's best to do it when it's the same temperature that you might be hunting in. So 21 degrees might be similar to what we're facing in November. I don't know what it's like where you guys live, but it's cold here a lot of times in November in the Midwest. Just like in the first video, I was shooting at 25 yards. You can see my backstop in the background right there. Let's go back inside at the tabletop and take a look at these groups. So very first charge weight of the day. If you want to know what charge weights I use, go to the Hodgdon website, go right to the middle of the table and work your way up in 0.2 grain increments. And that's what I did, working all the way up to the top. So here's the middle of the road group. Look at that, outstanding. Keep in mind, I'm shooting here. I don't really care where the group goes as long as it's consistent. Let's get our measure out here, just at 2¼ inches. Outstanding from 25 yards, less than 25 shots through this gun. Let's take a look at the next one. Not quite as good. Every bit of a 3-inch group. Let's take a look at the last one. About a 2.5-inch group. Again, outstanding. Guys, I've not shot this gun very much. There's a lot of room for improvement. Just a little bit more break-in, a little bit more familiarity, a lot more charge weights, a lot more different powders. So I'm very encouraged with what we see here. Let's take a look at the first and third one again. As you can see, these groups fell into a very similar spot. What that tells me is I'm not going to have to trickle charge each one of these rounds. I can just pour and go, which is going to be perfect for this type of handgun. Guys, I hope you were as encouraged as I was about today's video, today's groups that I got. Is it going to make the team at this point? No, there's a lot of work to be done. If you notice, when I was shooting, I was using our Hybrid Hunter Handgun Rest. That's meant for larger platform firearms, and I would not use that rest to shoot a very small pistol like this one. So I'm going to have to go back to the monopod, back to the signature handgun rest, and make that work. What else do I need to do? Obviously, I have to shoot a lot faster than I was. Those were bench rested shots. Those were not hunting shots. Hunting shots, you have to be a little bit faster. I have a lot of videos coming up. I have a couple different powders I want to try that I already have. I also have some powders that I'm trying to get my hands on to see how those work out. So this is going to be a long journey. I hope you guys will stick with me. I appreciate you guys watching. I will see you on the next one. So I want to know something, and I have a feeling there are a lot of people who are going to watch this video who are thinking about getting into handgun hunting. So I have a question for you. If you're thinking about getting into, if you're brand new, or maybe you've tried it before and it maybe didn't work out for you, why are you thinking about getting back into it? I think, well, I just want to know what you guys think. I'm not going to say anything more. If you would answer that down below in the comments, I would very much appreciate it.